Welcome back to a special edition of How to Save the World, humans included. What's special about it? Well, my last video, actually somebody watched it and asked me a question, so that's different. And the question was in regards to hierarchy. I used the term hierarchy, and in my own mind I have a definition for it, and I've identified it as largely a negative part of my world, and so it bears going into it. And I'm glad that I did, because looking into it, I learned more about it. The word hierarchy comes from the Greek, which meant sacred order or sacred rule. And the roots of hierarchy, at least from what I've read, begins in religion. And that makes sense, because religion and the gods are something that they're an intellectual creation. We don't see them to know that they exist, but we sense the possible conditions for forces outside of our control to have effects on our lives. Well, we're not going to get into that. I'm trying to limit my mansplaining here so as to get to the point, and you know, this is a beautiful day here. Shouldn't be that hard to listen to another human talk for 5 minutes, but I know we're being tick-tocked out of our minds, so hopefully you can make it to the end of this short video. You know the game rock, paper, scissors, right? Everybody knows about that, I think. Most people don't do it most of the time, but that's what I've found online, people referring to that as a simple example of a heterarchy. Each element, rock, paper, and scissors, is capable of being dominant in certain situations and being dominated in other situations. A simple example, of course, would just be women. Women have the only ability to bear children, so if you need kids, you probably want to find a woman. And when a woman is bearing children, there's times in her life where she's less able to do other things because of the demands of that work. And so that's when men and women who are not able to or currently involved in childbearing and rearing need to find ways for them to be helpful and productive. And of course, for men, hunting was a go-to, because meat was important in a lot of these older societies. I don't want to call them primitive, because in a lot of ways they're more human than what we have now. But Of course, I'm not going to put down what we have now. I just wish everybody was better informed, and that's the problem that we have. We have misinformation, and we have people that do not bother to inform themselves. I believe that the hierarchy of government needs to be replaced with a heterarchy. But at the very least, it needs to be dismantled to the point where the elements of governmental hierarchies are overseen by a well-informed population, a population with the means to communicate and stay informed, which we now have with the internet. And but how long is it going to take for people to get smart enough to make informed decisions? The future does look bright, but it looks a long ways off too. Of course, our hierarchies, corporate, government, they are susceptible at times to what the masses, the lowly at the bottom, when we're really upset about something, we can boycott, we can protest. Unfortunately, at times we riot. But we do see occasionally a shift in the top when there's enough protest from the bottom. But I don't consider that examples of a hierarchy shifting into heterarchy. Because those in power don't give up power. They just accommodate as little as possible to maintain their power. Oh, I did want to mention, in that last video, I said that my videos are a form of hierarchy, and thinking about it and studying about it a little more helped me to understand that that's not true. So my videos are a information source, and they just exist really in a heterarchy situation where it's a skill that I've provided, and it's there on YouTube for you to make use of when it's necessary. So it's actually a good example of a heterarchy, a future heterarchy. So whenever you're watching this, thanks for stopping by.